Good evening. Tonight we're hearing from the widow of the man who says that she says was mistakenly shot and killed by Phoenix police. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kariba Devine. Last night, a South Phoenix family called the police because someone came to their home and started firing multiple gunshots into it. But instead of shooting the gunman, the family says that officers shot the victim.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live outside the home near 75th Avenue and Lower Buckeye Road. And Chase, I can't imagine what this woman is going through. How is she holding up?
Well, Mark Creeby, I'll tell you, the family is absolutely devastated by this situation. Within the past couple hours, they actually created a small candlelight vigil for their loved one, who they identify as Christian Diaz. Now, they say the suspect who fired all these gunshots originally is their landlord's son. And tonight, only on 12 News, we're speaking with that landlord about this whole situation. The Gonzalez family boarding up the windows to their home from a shooting where dozens of rounds were fired inside and out. Mariana Gonzalez, her husband Christian Diaz, and their young kids were all inside when those shots were fired. She says they all got to the floor and Diaz called 911, the bullets passing right above their heads.
And another blast came in and I heard my son scream. They hit me in the foot. They hit me.
When all of a sudden, she says the gunman, who they identify as their landlord's son, came in through the back door, saying he would kill them. Another man inside the home tackled the gunman, knocking the gun away. Diaz and that man held the suspect until officers arrived. Gonzalez says she ran outside and told the officers that the attacker was on the ground, being restrained by her husband. Then the officer fired into the doorway. She says that bullet didn't hit the man who caused all this chaos, but her husband.
He shot him without mercy. He didn't say, raise your hands. He didn't say, move away from him. He didn't say anything at all. He just shot him.
The family devastated, telling Diaz to get up, but said he wasn't moving. Officers then detained the gunman, taking him and the 19-year-old to the hospital. The family says Diaz died.
It's not fair. It's not fair that my own husband was calling for help and they're the ones that killed him. Who do you call? Who do you trust?
On Tuesday, police confirmed someone came to the home and started firing, saying an officer fired one shot into the doorway, hitting and killing a subject inside, and that 2 people were taken to the hospital. They did not say if the person they shot was the gunman. 24 hours after the shooting, we spoke with Ruperto Garcia, the landlord, claiming it was his 33-year-old son that fired all these shots, saying the attack was random, that his son has a history of violence.
This was all a mental health issue. He wasn't in his right mind. He wasn't aware of what he was doing.
Garcia also devastated, saying he was friends with the family and Diaz, describing him as a hardworking man that did not deserve this.
There was a death, the destruction of their family and ours. I feel a bit sad, confused still.
The family holding this vigil outside their home for Diaz, not knowing what's going to happen next, just that their loved one is gone. The Gonzalez family telling me they are calling for justice and transparency in this investigation, which is now being handled by the Arizona Department of Public Safety. Earlier today, we did reach out to them for more information on the situation. They said that they can't provide it at this time. We did also reach back out for Phoenix police regarding the claims being made by this family, but we haven't heard from them at this time. We also don't know if the suspected gunman, again, being claimed by the family, is currently in custody. We also have a lot of questions about this situation that we are still working on getting answers to. We're live in South Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. Earlier tonight, Mesa Fire and police responded to a multi-car accident near Southern and Gilbert Road. According to officials, 4 patients were treated. 1 was in serious condition and had to be extricated from the vehicle before he could be transported. The rest of the patients have also been sent to various hospitals for further evaluation. Stay with 12 News for more updates.
Well, this is a live look right now at Sky Harbor, where bad weather is still causing delays and cancellations. You can see some very long lines there inside of Terminal 4 as travelers try to figure out what their next move is. A total of 119 flights, both in and out of Sky Harbor, have been canceled today, with another 243 being delayed. Well, tonight we're hearing from Zips Sports Grill for the first time since several of their locations were swarmed by federal law enforcement. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra has more from downtown Phoenix.
A popular Arizona sports bar chain was temporarily shut down as federal agents with Homeland Security investigations executed more than a dozen court-authorized search warrants across the valley. This was the scene at several Zips Sports Grill locations where we saw federal agents leave the establishments carrying boxes of apparent evidence, including documents and computers. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Arizona only said this was part of a months-long criminal investigation into suspected felony violations of federal law, but didn't explain which law. Zips Sports Grill says they still don't know what this is all about. A statement reads in part, federal officials have not shared details regarding the nature of the investigation, and no charges or allegations have been announced. Zip says they are cooperating fully with law enforcement and working closely with attorneys to understand the scope of the inquiry. Due to the ongoing investigation, Zips couldn't answer our questions about whether any of their employees were arrested or detained while the warrants were executed. We need your name. What's your name? Video shared with 12 News shows several people, likely employees, being escorted out of a restaurant in zip ties by federal agents. The Department of Homeland Security also hasn't confirmed if any arrests were made. A Phoenix immigration attorney told us she's trying to get in touch with the people in the video and any other employees involved.
We're still trying to help the families navigate that situation and trying to get them in contact and trying to figure out if they're going to be processed with immigration, if any criminal charges are going to happen, so that's still up in the air.
That was Gabriela Becerra reporting. Zip Sports Grill says all of their locations are closed right now, but they're working to reopen by the end of the week. They ask anyone who chooses to demonstrate near any of their locations just to do it peacefully. Scottsdale police confirmed to 12 News they did make an arrest outside of a Zips location while the federal investigation was being conducted inside. Scottsdale police officers were supporting federal agents by providing scene security at the Zips near Camelback and Miller Roads. Police tell us the suspect, identified as Phoenix Waits, allegedly assaulted a police officer. The officer's injuries were not serious.
Multiple agencies are currently investigating a shooting involving Border Patrol agents near the town of Arivaca, which is south of Tucson. U.S. Border Patrol agents attempted a stop of a vehicle believed to be involved in human smuggling. The suspect, a 34-year-old Arizona resident, fired at Border Patrol agents. The agents then returned fire, striking the suspect, who has been identified as Patrick Scheigel. He was transported to the hospital and is in serious condition. This remains an active, ongoing investigation.
New tonight, 2 workers with the Arizona Department of Health are accused of trying to shake down an assisted living facility for money in order to pass a health inspection. According to court records, Pearl Padilla and Dawn Rathburn were taken into custody earlier this week. Also this month, Padilla conducted an unannounced inspection of a facility in Carefree. Allegedly, she found multiple deficiencies. Both workers returned asking for over $7,000 in exchange for a clean inspection report. The facility agreed to pay, and court records show that Padilla then allegedly submitted a report clear of deficiencies. 12 News reached out to the health department. They tell us they have a zero-tolerance policy for fraud or unethical conduct.
All new tonight, a shakeup in the race for Arizona governor. A Scottsdale healthcare entrepreneur has announced that he's running as an independent and says that he has the money to make it to the November ballot. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick talked to Hugh Lytle today about his campaign and the challenges facing independents.
Hugh Lytle arrived in Tempe more than 40 years ago, planning to be the ASU Sun Devils' next quarterback. An injury derailed that dream. And today, Lytle stood outside Sun Devil Stadium telling Arizona voters he wants to be their next governor, an independent who plans to fix a broken system.
The two parties are trapped in a fight that never ends. They argue, they posture, they divide, but they don't solve big problems.
61-year-old healthcare entrepreneur Hugh Lytle of Scottsdale is running for Arizona governor, and he's making history. Lytle's the first statewide candidate of the Arizona Independent Party.
I do hard things, I take on big challenges, and I embrace bold ideas, even radical ideas, if they help real people.
Lytle name-checked liberal and conservative icons.
The radical ideas I believe in came from both Martin Luther King Jr. and Milton Friedman. MLK taught us that civil rights and equal rights unleash human potential. Milton Friedman taught us that free people and free markets create abundance.
Lytle will be crashing an Arizona governor's race that's featured an independent candidate just once in the last quarter century.
We want to say to those independent voters who want to run, there's a pathway for you now. There's a way for you to do this. And Hugh begins to open up that by letting people know that it is possible.
Former Phoenix Mayor Paul Johnson has worked for years to create an independent political party. Now the major parties are suing to strike the word independent from the name.
They don't want that equal access for everyone. They're terrified by it.
Lytle says he's been both a Democrat and a Republican. He's donated money to Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs in the past.
I'm committed to this independent run.
In November, Lytle would face Hobbs and one of 3 Republican candidates, Congressman Andy Biggs and David Schweikert, and business consultant Karen Taylor Robeson. Bram Resnick, 12 News.